Hi, Founder fans. Jason here, and today's founder is John Henry, a governor of Maryland, and the man who stalled the Articles of Confederation for quite some time. Now, before we get too into it, John Henry was a fairly common name during the time. This, as I said, spoiler alert, is the John Henry who becomes governor of the state of Maryland. Now, as for Henry's youth, he grew up in Maryland. He goes to the West Nottingham Academy, which many future founders studied at as children. He then goes over to London, where he gets a further education and studies law. He comes back and is pretty successful as a lawyer, and by the time he's 27, he's elected to the Colonial Assembly. He also then serves on the Provincial Assembly, the shadow government that was established when the Revolutionary War began. Eventually, he is trusted enough by his community to go serve as a delegate to the Continental Congress, and this is where he stalls the Articles of Confederation. Now, the reason he does this is because certain states, Virginia, had claims to vast amounts of land in the West, and smaller states, notably Maryland, were nervous that eventually Virginia could own all of North America, and Maryland would just have this little state in the corner there. Now, he stalls for over a year. Eventually, he leaves and misses the ratification and the ability to sign the Articles of Confederation because eventually Virginia does, as well as several other states, they cede their western lands to the Continental Congress, assuming that those would eventually be their own states. This satisfies Maryland, and they are finally the last ones to ratify the Articles of Confederation in 1781. I should also note that Henry was chosen as the first ambassador to Morocco, but he turns this down because it is right in the middle of his stalling the Articles, and he seems to think it was a tactic to get him out of the way so that the Articles could be passed. Now, Henry returns back to Maryland for several years, but he's made a name for himself, and when the Constitution is ratified, John Henry is chosen as one of Maryland's first inaugural United States senators, and he stays in the United States Senate for almost the entirety of the Washington administration, again, as the first, and not only, there were two of them, but first inaugural senator representing Maryland. He only leaves this position when he is elected as governor of Maryland. He returns, and there's not a lot of noteworthy stuff he does during his term. Really, he's most famous for reorganizing the state militia, and then after 1 year, citing failing health, he declines to run for a second term. And this was probably a good move because, sadly, he passes away just about a month later at the young age of 48 years old. That's a brief overview of John Henry, governor of Maryland, an important delegate to the Continental Congress, and an inaugural United States senator. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit like, and if you're new here, subscribe for American Revolution 7 days a week. Also, if you like the hoodie I'm wearing, I got a bunch of merch like this on my website, so check that out through the link in the description below. I'll be back with another founder for you tomorrow.